Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our Lent devotional series for youth and young adults. Again, my name is Tracy. We're going to be going through the book My Daily Discoverment by Andrew Hyde. And this is going to be our 40 days of devotions to help us kind of dive into Lent a little bit more. Maybe this will be one of your spiritual practices throughout the 40 days of Lent that you can start or you can take on. So today is day 2, and our theme for today is Mysteries Shore. So we're going to be reading from James chapter 4, verses 13 to 15. I'm going to be reading from the NIV version, but you can follow along in whichever version of the Bible that you prefer. Now listen, you who say, today or tomorrow, we will go to this or that city, spend a year there, carry on a business, and make money. Why you do not even know what will happen tomorrow? What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if it is the Lord's will, we will live and do this or that. So we're going to dive a little bit into what this means and a little bit into the story like we did yesterday about this verse. When I was a child, our family used to spend summers at the cottage on the north shore of Lake Erie. If you've ever stood on the shore of one of the Great Lakes, they are majestic inland seas, which stirred my imagination and gave me a sense of how big the universe really was. There was something about standing on that rocky shore with the waves crashing and the fishy smells of seaweed in the air. Something about the watery horizon meeting the sun and the endless expansion of the stars at night that opened me up to the mysteries of God and the possibilities of life. How big was God, and how vast was God's love for us? In my imagination, it was as vast as the Great Lakes spread out before me. The other amazing thing about our summer location was that on a really clear day, a day without clouds, when the air pressure was just right, you could catch a faint glimpse, trace a dim outline of the hills on the American side of the lake. Somewhere over there was Erie, Pennsylvania, which I realize now is a little less remarkable than 2 American TV channels that, again, on a clear day, we could sometimes pick up with the rabbit ear antennas at our cottage TV set. From that mysterious, far off land, I could occasionally pick up shows like Saved by the Bell and Transformers, which I devoured because of their novelty, if not because of their brilliance. Anyone who takes time to faithfully consider their future, I believe, is standing at the edge of a great mystery. Think of all the possibilities. Think of all the opportunities. Think of all the adventure and hardship and challenges that might be awaiting you. It is beautiful and intimidating and exciting and scary to stand so close to life's mysteries, to have the waves of God's presence lapping at your toes. It is holy ground indeed. Yet, from the other side of that mystery, creasing the horizon of the divine possibilities, sometimes, just sometimes, the Creator reveals to us little glimpses. Glimpses of who God is, glimpses of who we are called to become, glimpses of what a meaningful and abundant life can look like, and how we might be called to serve, glimpses of a coming kingdom. The church I belong to affirms we witness the holy mystery that is holy love, song of faith. Note that it is a holy mystery that is entirely love, not the other way around. God is mostly, but not entirely, a mystery. Because of God's revelation to us, the glimpses we receive of who God is and what God is doing in this world, we can with confidence describe God as 100% love. When we consider the future and seek to discover where God is calling us, we stand on the edge of a vast and holy mystery. Take a moment to breathe in. Don't let mystery's vastness overwhelm you, for we are not kept entirely in a fog. God reveals to us just what we need to create a life that is made of purpose and meaning and love. As you consider your future, may you stand on the edge of this mystery with God, attentive to the conditions around you, anticipating the next clear day when we might catch a glimpse of what God has to show to you. So, just like yesterday, we are going to do some reflection questions. So, here are our reflection questions for today. How do you feel when you begin thinking about your future? Name some of the emotions that come over you. So, this has definitely changed for me as I've aged and as I've got older and as I've started diving more into my education, into my future career. But I will still say that one of the first emotions that comes over me when I think about the future is fear. And that's probably not uncommon, but it's probably not something you often hear from people like me in ministry roles or in graduate school. But it is fear. And fear for me kind of has an abundance of different reasons why. So, fear about planning my wedding that's coming up. That is a huge fear because we just don't know what it's going to look like yet. There's just so much going on that we really have to try and balance things out with that. Another fear is, with schooling, I've always had a fear of failure, a fear of not being good enough, doing well enough. And I've definitely learned to kind of work through it and process it. When I was younger, like when I was in high school, I would just not start a project if I didn't know every little detail, like when is it due? What am I being graded on? Give me the rubric. I would not start a project unless I could see the entirety of what was expected of me, which has kind of gone down a little bit now through my university days and my graduate school, because we are given a full rundown of what teachers are expecting of us, which is super helpful for me. But I still have that fear of not being good enough, not doing well enough. And in my master's degree, I think it's definitely been kind of compiled on through the fact that you have to have a minimum grade of 70 to pass each of my courses right now. And in a little bit, my courses, I'm going to need a minimum of a 75% to pass those classes and a minimum of a 70 on every assignment to pass those classes. And that's really stressful for me. There were, times in school where I graduated or passed that semester with straight A's, and other times where I really struggled and I had, an A in one course and a C plus in another course. And it was overwhelming for me because I've always put a lot of pressure on myself to do well. But all of those things are just a normal part of the human experience. And I'm pretty sure almost everyone has had those feelings of, am I good enough? And again, for me, it's really just been learning to pray to God and get through those moments of anxiety and learn and know that I am good enough and I am a child of God, perfectly imperfect. So the second question is, when have you felt yourself close to the holy mystery that is holy love? Have you ever caught a glimpse of something you felt God was revealing to you, and what was it? So for me, my favorite time to kind of pray to God is, it used to be actually on my morning walks to work and class in university, and watching the sunrise, especially during those colder winter months, walking to school, at quarter to 7, 7 a.m., between 7 and, any 9 maybe. You used to be able to see the sun rising at some point of its sunrise. And I used to just be walking and thank God for the beauty that was around me, and for the light of a new day and the blessing of a new day. And that really was kind of my morning routine, walking to school or to work each morning while I was in university. And it was very calming for me, actually. And for me, that glimpse of God revealing, that to me, um, was really precious to me. And now I even do it at sunset, especially sunrise and sunset. Those are kind of my favorite times of day, just because of the beauty. And for me, it was kind of a reminder to, um, bring that light into someone else's day somehow, some way, whatever that would look like, and bring that love and graciousness and beauty into someone else's day. And it was really powerful for me to start each day like that. So read Exodus 33:18-23, which I have done. And based on this, why do you think God keeps some things hidden from us? How do you respond to the times when answers to your questions or responses to your longings have remained hidden from you? So, for those of you who don't know, I grew up in foster care for a number of years and didn't return back home even after I aged out of foster care, because I just didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel safe, and had to, learn to find my own way around, learn to find other places to live, support myself, and all of those kind of things for a number of years, until I would say my mid 20s, my early 20s. And I'm 27 now for reference. And for me, for a long time, my question was, why is this my journey? Why was I in a house that had abuse? Why was I a target of abuse? Not just in my home, but outside of my home, with bullying and being a victim of multiple sexual assaults. Why was this happening to me? And why was always my question. But as I've gotten older and I've done my schooling and I've processed my trauma, I've processed my past and learned how to make it better for my future, it really opened my eyes to seeing, okay, I went through all that so that I could help others that are going through similar things, that are going through the same questions, that are wondering, that are hurting, that are, suicidal, that are self harming, all of those kind of things. If I hadn't gone through that in my journey, I would not be where I am today, in a position of being able to help others process that, in a position of being able to really comfort others in their time of need, and empathize and connect with people that are hurting, that are searching for belonging and need and comfort and safety. Um, but again, it took me a long time to have that revealed to me by God. It took a long time for me to understand that God wasn't punishing me by putting me through the journey I went through. It was simply God, leading me to where I needed to be in order to spread the message of love that God gives us, and to spread the message of healing and redemption and forgiveness to others, which can be really hard. And one of the hardest parts of my journey that God helped me understand and open my eyes to was understanding that sometimes I have to forgive people even when they haven't asked for forgiveness. And it's super hard and it's not easy, but I definitely walked that journey with God and continue to walk it every single time I help lead an Alpha session, um, especially where we get to the part of Alpha that's all about forgiveness. I am reminded that I need to continually forgive people who haven't asked for forgiveness, and bring to myself my own peace of mind through that process. So that is really my journey of, waiting for God to reveal something to me that I feel like I shouldn't have to be waiting for answers for, but know that only God is all knowing, and I will get those answers and responses from God when they know I'm ready for it. When I am mentally, emotionally, spiritually ready to receive those answers from God, I know I will receive them. So, thank you for joining me today for day 2 of Lent in our daily devotionals. I hope that you're able to sit and reflect on these questions as well. And I hope that you are enjoying thus far our Lent journey through the My Daily Discoverment book. Have a great day, everyone.